Hey guys, and welcome back to today's video. I came across this Yahoo Sports article that I found pretty interesting when it comes to the offensive coordinator position for the Chicago Bears. And I think that this list keeps on growing, and good thing too, because Ryan Poles needs to explore all his options for the offensive coordinator position. I wish he did that for the head coaching position, but I guess I digress, because head coaching wise, the locker room really likes him, so I give him a pass on that. So in terms of this article kind of adds three more candidates that we already know. We've already seen the Shane Waldron, the Clint Kubiak, and there are a few more that have been added to this list that, and also Greg Roman, that we've kind of talked about over the course of these last couple of days, that have been brought up to be potential offensive coordinator candidates. So I guess we can just go through together and kind of see my thoughts as to who I think we should keep an eye on when it comes to what we do as an organization, whether it's at the QE position, when making this hire. So going to the first option, and that's Zach Robinson, who is the Los Angeles Rams quarterback coach. He's 37 years old, and he's an up-and-coming coach around the league, and gets a lot of credit with helping the Rams reinventing their passing game this season. Yeah, I guess you can say that too, because with the addition of a young receiver in Puka Nacua that came out, he was able to burst into the scene and be a very good option for Matthew Stafford. Given that the whole team is kind of young and doesn't really have draft capital, they were still able to develop. I think Zach Robinson did a good job with his offense and still making it to the playoffs too, because last year the Rams were 5-12 in the season, and bringing him on, I guess, allowed him to learn under Sean McVay and kind of revitalize the offense from what it used to be. Matt Stafford also dealt with injury last season, and this was a very good hire for the Rams, and I think that he's very young, and it says right here, he's also an innovative offensive coach with experience coaching and playing quarterback as well as coaching wide receivers. I think that's also important, because the Chicago Bears right now are looking for development when it comes to the wide receiver position. And because we're definitely, no matter whether we go with Caleb or whether we go with Justin Fields as our quarterback, we're going to have wide receivers that are going to be drafted, whether it's Rome Odunze, or if we somehow, some way end up with like a Marvin Harrison Jr. or Malik Neighbors. It really is important that we have a coach or a coordinator that knows how to develop wide receivers. For example, Puka Nacua. Based on this article, it seems that Zach Robinson was able to kind of get him alongside Sean McVay to get the best out of Puka Nacua. And I think this could be a decent opportunity for him, and given that he has experience, he's 37 years old and he's pretty much respected. I think this could be a good solid option, depending on either one. We can, whether we go with Caleb or whether we go with Justin Fields. I think this could be a decent shot. My only thing is that this article doesn't really mention much about the quarterback development, because at this point Stafford has already been developed. We haven't really seen this coordinator coach develop a quarterback, or bring the best out of him. Stafford has always been that way. I don't see him needing good. Scheming is important, but that's with McVay and whatnot. But I don't know, because while there are good upsides for Zach Robinson, I do think that we need to consider, maybe if it's last resort, or he can definitely be a good option. If the good options, if the main options that are aren't available, then we can probably consider him. But yeah, definitely good news, because I think that this could be a decent option. Marcus Brady from the Philadelphia Eagles, he was the senior offensive assistant. He's 44 years old. Last 2 seasons with the offensive staff. The offensive staff last year was really good with Shane Steichen as their offensive coordinator. And now, funny enough, he was a member of Frank Reich's staff with Indianapolis Colts, and now Shane Steichen is on the Indianapolis Colts, but I digress. And he has experience in assistant quarterbacks coach, was the quarterbacks coach in 2020. So he's been working with quarterbacks for quite some time. And the offensive coordinator for 2021 and 2022. So I guess that's with Matt Ryan and Carson Wentz. So not the best options, I guess, like in terms of experience, but he worked with Matt Eberflus in 2018 to 2021. I don't trust that because the last time Eberflus brought someone from the staff of Indianapolis, he ended up leaving after week 1. So, yeah, I mean, based on this, like, I don't know. He doesn't come from the Shanahan-McVay tree. He's a former ball, like, even Greg Roman's the only candidate from a different offensive background. Like, these two are, like, the only ones that aren't in the McVay-Shanahan tree. And I think that the best course of action for the Chicago Bears is to go with the tried and trusted coaching tree. Not a Bill Belichick tree, not a Matt LaFleur tree. God, no, not a Matt LaFleur tree because, Jesus Christ, that's bad. This is an option, I think. I'm not really buying it too much, but, might as well interview him just to see what he says and what he's able to do. And yeah, that's enough for me. I'm good. I'm alright. Not Mark Trestman. I'm good. Cliff Kingsbury. That's been a hot button issue or topic since yesterday or the day before, whenever it was talked about that Cliff Kingsbury could be interested in coming back to the NFL as a coordinator. I think now we just got notification that Cliff Kingsbury, the Chicago Bears are interviewing him in LA. So, I mean, you can do with that what you will with that information, but it seems like if Cliff Kingsbury is the option, I think that they're probably more likely heading towards taking Caleb Williams. I mean, makes sense because right now Cliff Kingsbury is the senior offensive analyst and quarterbacks coach at USC. He's worked with Caleb Williams and for the last 2 years now, I think. But my only issue is that this year the offense really fizzled out near the end of the season. And yes, they did really good in the beginning. And the previous year, Caleb Williams won Heisman, whatnot. Cool, whatever. But the thing is, with Kingsbury, he starts out insanely good. Like, we saw this with the Cardinals. Like, back when the Cardinals were like 10-0 or something like that, with Kyler Murray. Started 10-0, or beginning of the season, Merchant. And then at the end of the season, he ends up becoming complacent, falls off, makes terrible play calling. Like, we've seen this before. And I think we kind of saw that with Caleb Williams in USC, where Caleb Williams and all that, well, he did fine. The offense as a whole fizzled out. And they lost a bunch of games that were due to offensive scheming. And, right, I think that this could be a good option, but at the same time, you have to think about, the caveats that come with Kingsbury as a coordinator. It's different from what's the guy's name? The head coach for the USC. He even has flaws as well when it comes to developing and bringing in good defensive talent. So I think there's very iffy stances when it comes to Kingsbury. People on Twitter would be like, "Oh, Kingsbury and Caleb Williams together would be elite," because they had that experience together. Yes, I agree, but you have to think about you have to go in deep there when it comes to evaluating Kingsbury as a whole. Because yes, he did have his moments in the NFL, but if he comes back, I mean, he did take a step back and go to the college and coach. But at the end of the day, it's just all ifs and ifs. But we'll see. I mean, I don't know. He was also known to developing Patrick Mahomes when Kingsbury was head coach at Texas Tech. Yeah, I guess that's good, but it's his experience is good. I think he's a solid option, but I'm a bit bearish on him. I don't really know how he will translate back into the NFL, but We shall see. We shall see. I think he's a solid option. Thomas Brown, yeah, he's been on McVay's staff. Yeah, I agree, but like, yeah, I mean, the Panthers didn't no favors for him when he was in Carolina. Carolina didn't have any help for Bryce Young and weren't able to develop him. Like, yeah, I mean, this could be. This, I don't know. I'm kind of iffy because it's a Carolina's Panthers one. I think they're solely doing it because of like the Rooney Rule, as unfair that it is. But like, we'll see. I'm not a huge fan of this pick. Greg Roman. Yes, Greg Roman has been a big no in Bears Twitter because he was able to, while he was still able to develop Lamar Jackson into the MVP candidate and take the Ravens to have a top rushing offense, his passing offense was non-existent essentially. Like, he's only a rushing offense guru. And listen, if we're going to hire a staff, because we kind of got rid of all our offensive staff, I would love to see Greg Roman as our running backs coach. That would be the most elite thing. Say we pair him up with like a Shane Waldron and a Greg Roman as a offensive coordinator and running backs coach duo. That would be insane. And Rushford, yeah, he has the career high of rushing yards of 1,206. Yeah, it's run oriented, and I think we've already been trying to move on from that running style offense and trying to move into a more passing style. We tried to do that with Justin Fields this season. It kind of worked. But yeah, I think that he would be better as a running backs coach than offensive coordinator. Yeah, Shane Waldron, as I mentioned earlier, I think I think for the most part is like the top choice for most of us when it comes to offensive coordinator, due to the fact that he's already had experience with Sean McVay, and he has experience with Pete Carroll in the Seattle Seahawks. Like, Waldron did a great job with revitalizing Geno Smith's career, and I think that with all this experience, I think that he could still be a very good offensive coordinator for us in Chicago and develop, whether it's Caleb Williams or Justin Fields. He'll be great for both. And finally, I don't know if it's finally, let me see. Oh, there's a lot more, but I'll probably stop it right here because Clint Kubiak has been also a name that's been going around. San Francisco had a stint with Minnesota and Denver last year. Gary Kubiak's son, like, passing game coordinator after Bobby Slowick left. He's been doing a good job this year. I think that having anyone from the Shanahan tree is really good. And he could also be a good option, but I would think it's between Shane Waldron, Clint Kubiak, and maybe Zach Robinson for me. Because all those three have what they have in common is either Shanahan or McVay tree. And yeah, these are just like the options that are available. Liam Cohen is also one. Greg Olsen, not the legendary tight end, but like the quarterback's coach. Yeah, I think overall this is a pretty solid like number of coordinators that have been interviewed. So let me know what you guys think. What do you guys think about this this list? Do you guys think we should interview someone else, or any of the people that I mentioned were not good candidates? What do you think they're good about? And yeah, this has been Soulback Sports, and thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know down in the comments below what you guys think and whether you like these type of videos, and I'll see you guys later.